As promised, I got a great friend of mine by the name of Ludacris officially on the Quicksilver Show. What's up, man?
Man, it's crazy to see both of ourselves go up the ranks over all these years, man, and just knowing each other for so long, man. It's good to talk to you, bro.
Absolutely, man. When I first met this brother, he was Chris Lover doing exactly what I'm doing. He was in radio, and now look at the guy. He's a movie star. He's an actor. He's an activist. This guy's Annie Rich.
Nah, it's all. Stop acting like you ain't rich out here quick, man. People know what it is. Don't
Nah.
look. Just 'cause you be tucking your change away, man, and not everybody needs to know. But
I
it's
don't
funny
have. I
how a
don't.
lot of artists going back to radio, right? You see this, right?
Right.
They got all these radio shows. It's
You ain't
crazy.
never lied. No, of course, man. Let's jump right in, Ludacris. First, let me talk about you dropped the remix, the Sex Beat record that was with Usher and Lil Jon,
Oh
and then
yeah.
of course, right from that, you dropped your own single, "Silence of the Lambs," feature Lil Wayne.
Yeah, man. It's both of these records getting a lot of praise. We appreciate everybody supporting them, playing them, streaming them, whatever you doing. But I've been doing so much other stuff. I haven't put out any records in a minute, so I'm just trying to satisfy the core fan base right now. So these records are booming.
Of course, when you first dropped "Silence of the Lambs," I saw it the same way everybody else first saw it when you were on the Nelly versus Luda battle, and that R. Kelly line. I know you've spoken on it once or twice before, but that R. Kelly line definitely got a lot of attention, man.
It did. It did get a lot of attention, but now that the whole record is out and people hear all of the things that I'm saying, and you really get a moral to it, it's like I want everybody to look at themselves in a mirror. This type of record is supposed to cause conversation, and you're not supposed to take one name out of the entire record and just specifically talk about that. It's a lot of metaphors and a lot of jewels being dropped. And what's crazy, quick, is that the record is more relevant now than it was when I dropped it a month ago. So if you really listen to the second verse and talking about everything that's going on in these streets, that's why Silence of the Lambs is a force to be reckoned with right now, man. And that's what it's about.
You ain't never lied. Like I said, we first heard that record on the verses with the Nelly
Yeah.
verse Ludacris, and let me go ahead and say on record. I said it online, but I'll say it on record. Ludacris smashed Nelly.
Hey, man, you know what's crazy about that whole experience, though? You got a lot of people saying who won and who did that, but I was just happy that people got to see the collection of records that I did within a certain amount of time, all in one sitting, because people had these arguments about who's on these MC lists or what made what contribution to hip hop. If anybody saw that verses or went back and watched it, and if you haven't, you go to my Ludacris Instagram. It's on there. But if you watch it, it's like one of those things where that concrete and solidified Ludacris as my place in hip hop history. And I'm speaking from a humble standpoint, but I love the conversation that came from that verses, bro, and I
Definitely.
appreciate how you judged it.
No, absolutely. Shout out to my guy Ludacris if you're just tuning in. Now, speaking of music, one of your big records, "Move, B, Get Out the Way," that's become a protest song. Like, how'd that happen?
Yo, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, literally, what it's saying in the hook of the song is what's going on in these streets right now. And I think every single artist makes songs to try and last and be etched in pop culture. Not only hip hop culture, but it's a whole different thing for something to be etched in movement culture and history. So, I mean, I couldn't even explain to you how that feels that they are out in these streets and chanting "Move, get out the way." That just lets you know that record came out like 17 years ago, bro.
Jeez. Well, that definitely
Yeah.
that goes to a testimony that you're definitely legendary at this point. To be hot for 5 years is cool. To be hot for 10 years, but once you make it past 10 years, you're legendary status. So I'll definitely give you your roses while you can still smell them, Luda. If anybody hasn't told you, you definitely have earned the right to put legendary Ludacris in front of your name.
Bro, at the end of the day, I can't tell myself that. I have to have individuals like you to tell me that. So the influences in the industry, and I appreciate that. And you know what? I received that, my brother. I appreciate it. You know what's
Now,
crazy about that legend name is like not only what you've done as a contribution to music, but everything else around it, like charity contributions, who you've been as a man, all the
yeah.
different things that you've done, man. And that's another reason I'm calling you today, because I'm trying to find answers to all the problems and solutions of what's going on today.
I wish I had the answer, but one thing I will say for yourself is that I've been seeing you on the front line. You know, a lot of artists right now, and we're not throwing shots at anybody, but a lot of artists, when the Black Lives Matter movement really became very popular over the last few weeks because of all the injustice, a lot of people just started speaking out. But you're not a person that only speaks out when it's popular. And if you go to his Instagram, you can see he's just not tweeting about it. A lot of people are using their thumbs to post about things, but they're not out there actively. And I saw you personally out there actively marching with us. So you're definitely been one of the people to always use your voice for greatness.
Man, absolutely. You know, with great power comes great responsibility, and who would I be if I was just talking it and not walking it? So I got to get out there and give the confidence and be a part of the movement, man. This is being a part of history right now. And I mean, like, of course, it's great to do the things that we do, but you know, we gotta fight on all fronts, man. We at war right now. That's how I feel about it. So I'm just doing multiple things to try and help.
Speaking of war, of course, Ludacris, you are based out of the ATL Atlanta, and what's the climate like right now in Atlanta with the whole Rayshard Brooks murder that we're now calling this? Like, what's the climate like right now?
Man, you can only imagine. It's nothing but frustration. Everybody's emotional, as we have been even before that. But, you know, everything that's going on, our mayor is a great leader. And, you know, she got both of those police officers fired. But obviously we want more. We want them charged. And, you know, there's just a lot going on, man. And we just got to continue to fight. It's so much more. We're starting to see slow progress, but we just cannot stand any more individuals dying. We've not been able to stand it for hundreds of years, if you really want to talk about it. So we really pissed, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Ludacris, if you're just tuning into the Quicksilver Show now, talk to me about Kid Nation, man. I see you're doing something amazing for young people.
Yeah, so all the parents out there, especially the ones that's homeschooling, and, you know, it's a whole different environment we live in. I wanted to not only fight on the front line at my home, but in terms of trying to secure the next generation, I created this platform called KidNation.com. So it's by kids and for kids, and it's like music and videos, one that are necessary up right now because we're going to launch the whole site in a couple of months. But there's one talking about hygiene and staying clean and washing your hands because of COVID. And then we got the one talking about getting along and how, you know, fighting racial injustice and how the innocent kids view everything. They just want everybody to get along. And so they lead with love. And I think it's just a great reminder. So go to KidNation.com, follow at KidNation on Instagram. We trying to starting another movement, bro, on all fronts for all the parents and all the kids.
All right, one last thing while I got you here, Ludacris. I remember one of your favorite lines. I can quote you for days, but you say, I'm not Hollywood yet. I just hop in that movie to get a big-ass check. I see you're a very successful actor now, and Fast and Furious 9 was supposed to come out, but it got pushed back until April of next year due to COVID, right?
Yeah, man. So it got pushed back, obviously, because the theater shut down, and it was supposed to come out in May of this year. Now it comes out April of next year. And so that's going to be interesting to see because now it's a lot of video on demand things. You see Trolls did like over 100 million. So I don't think the world is going to go back to the same it was before, but hopefully, you know, theaters will be safe and we can start flooding the theaters enough to release this movie, man. So I appreciate all the love.
Now, do you feel like acting kind of hurt your rap career? Because I feel like once you became a really, really big actor, you never fell off, but you kind of you went down in the ranks a little bit once you became a real successful actor. Do you regret that at all?
Nah, man. You know, and that's actually a good question because it's hard to fully concentrate on music and continuously come out with albums when you over here shooting a movie for a whole year. So, you know, it's like as you're doing one thing, the other one's getting away a little bit. But to answer that question, man, to be real with you, I would say everybody just go listen to Silence of the Lambs, and you tell me if I sound like I'm hungry and the metaphors and the Luda that everybody loves ain't still snapping right now, baby.
Big facts, man. You made it very clear on the Versus battle that this guy got hits. And I don't mean 5 or 10 or 15. I mean hundreds of club bangers, radio bangers, to Runaway Love, to Move. I mean, you got records that go from the club to What's Your Fantasy to being very socially conscious. So Ludacris, like I said earlier, you definitely earned the right to put legendary in front of the name Luda.
Hey, thank you, sir. And literally, man, let's just continue to build because we started in this together. Let's continue to I hear you out there on the front lines. I see you on the front lines. I know you're doing everything to affect change in your hood. So let's continue fighting, man. We're gonna get through this together.
Hey, say less as I love it. Say Ludacris, you my brother in real life, man, and we've been friends now for I think it's been almost close to 20 years. I remember when I first came to ATL and I was filling in on V103 and
Yep.
Reggie Rouse had brought me there, and that's when I first met you. Like, how long was that? 20 years ago? How long ago was
Man,
that?
probably so, man. Because like October this year, I'll be celebrating 20 years of Back for the first time, believe it or not. And DC, out of all the different cities, like there was Atlanta, you got Chicago, and then DC. DC was always like number one in terms of fans that for Luda and supporting the albums and all of that. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation and holler at everybody in DC, let y'all know how much I appreciate you, how much I love you. Make sure you go to KidNation.com, man. We're gonna continue to evolve, and we just gonna fight. Let's go, man.
Hey, say less, Ludacris. Keep up the great work, and as always, I'm a phone call or text away if you need me, bro.
Appreciate y'all, man. Love.
All right, Luda. Salute.
All right, boy. Peace.